Blue Lock, the manga that has changed the formula of sports manga with its philosophy of developing one's ego instead of focusing on the power of friendship. The manga has seen immense success, but so does the anime that cuts off with a cliffhanger, showing us the unfortunate outcome of Kunigami. In this video, I will summarize the events that lead to arguably the best match in Blue Lock so far. So without further ado, let's get going. Ego, the head and coach of Blue Lock, announces the terrible outcome that awaits our protagonist. The Blue Lock 11 will have a match against the U20 team of Japan. If Blue Lock wins, they get to be the new Japan U20. But if they lose, the entire Blue Lock center will shut down. They have 3 weeks to prepare. But on the top of this, Itoshi Sai, Rin's big brother, one of the new World Generation 11, will play with the U20 team. The situation seemed desperate for our protagonist. Playing against pro players is no easy task. But Isagi stays firmly with his belief that this match can change his life. Ego Jinpachi proceeds and announces the current top 6 players of Blue Lock that will participate in the U20 match. He starts calling the names with none other than Itoshi Rin as the best player of Blue Lock currently. Following him is the demon himself, Shido. Next is Karasu, Otoya, Yukimiya, and finally Nagi Seishiro as number 6. The top 6 will separate into pairs and will make 3 teams, A, B, and C. The remaining 29 will choose one of those 3 groups to play in a 5v5, and they have one game, one chance to prove what they've got. The members of the top 6 will be playing multiple games, along with Bachira Meguru, the number 7. As Ego explained, one of the teams will be divided, one will have a member short, so it makes only sense to assign their roles to the number 7 of Blue Lock. Ego also reflects that these are only current evaluations and that anyone can snatch a spot from the top 6. He also utters that the key to clearing this tryout lies in how the players can face, assert, and coexist with the top 6. In the dining hall at night, the monk eats happily the best meal he had ever had in Blue Lock so far. Raichi mentions that Team Z couldn't reunite, with Isagi rethinking of Kunigami, and Chigiri saying to him that this is how Blue Lock is, also bringing the fact that if they don't defeat the U20, their future will be chosen. They began to think of what team they should join. Bachira evoked to Isagi that he will most likely choose Team A or C, further explaining that if he wanted to spark chemical reactions with his own weapon, then Team C with Nagi will be the most optimal. But if he wanted to tap in his potential, he will then pick Team A, which has Rin. Both choices aren't easy for Isagi, since trying to draw attention to himself with Rin's team won't be easy. On the other hand, with Nagi, he can work with already well-established combos. Later in the bedroom, Baru and Isagi stumbled across each other, with Baru mentioning that he doesn't care which team he will pick, since he is King Baru after all. He also doubles down by scolding Isagi on why he is not in the top 6, and that he will be the one to bury him like a scrub. Isagi simply apologized to the king. After that, Nico, the invisible man, borrowed a face wash from Isagi and declared that he has enough from being pushed to the sideline, and he told Isagi to leave the bedroom because he doesn't like washing his forehead in front of other people. Back in the top 6 room, Ego instructs them to show attacks that they couldn't do alone. Adding to that, they need to think of others as a tool to make themselves the best striker in the world. I have heard this somewhere. And finally, they shouldn't dare let their position get stolen. The football that they create will become the blade that destroys Japanese football. What a speech. Isagi, in the monitoring room, thinks of this selection as too difficult. Entering the room, Reo thinks the same thing. Isagi thought Reo would choose Nagi's team, but Reo tells Isagi that he doesn't want to hear that from the very guy who split them apart. Long story short, they discuss the fact that Reo doesn't want Nagi to get even further from him, and Isagi wants to be beside his ideal self, which is Rin. The day of the trial finally arrived, and the players are getting themselves ready. Isagi chose Rin's team and Reo chose Nagi's one. The first team is being called, but remember, this is their last chance to make the Blue Lock 11. The players are being called Nanase, Hiyori, one of my favorites by the way, Isagi Yoichi, who is surprised to play first. Of course, this is Team A, so they would be playing with Rin and Shido. Isagi is thinking that his teammates are rivals. To his surprise, Nanase is quite a nice guy and even called Isagi his senpai. Isagi thinks to himself that this is new. All he knows so far is,
I will kill you. You're fucking dead.
Fuck off.
Turns out Hiyori is the same. They talked about their different accents and had a laugh about it. And Isagi thinks to himself that the world is so peaceful with these two. Entering the field, Nanase says hello to Rin. who ends up straight up ignoring him. The 5v5 kicks off. Shido dashes on the field, but he got stopped by Otto and got surrounded. Isagi called for a pass, which he gets, and starts a 1-2 with Rin, which successfully worked until Sonic the Hedgehog clears the ball. The ball gets closer to the goal, but right on the midst of the battle, the demon Shido dashes with full speed and get the ball. Right about time when Isagi was thinking of restarting the attack, Shido kinks the living crap out of the ball without even looking at the freaking goal and scores the first goal. Yes, I'm gonna be using that word a lot. Everybody was stunned, so this is the power of the Blue Lock number 2. Meanwhile, Karasu updated his software. The match continued with Isagi trying to steal the ball from Karasu but couldn't, mentioning that his body is strong. Karasu declares to Isagi that he loves weaklings. Shido joined the party and got dribbled in a fashionable way, using his Beyblade technique. Karasu, the number 3, gets by and dropped the first goal for his team, tying the score to 1-1. Ordino in the crowd. Hiyori warns Isagi that he shouldn't focus on hiding his weaknesses, but instead focus on fighting with his strength. The game resumes with Shido having fun. He passes to Isagi once again, who gets quickly stopped by the insanely fast Karasu. He keeps pressing on Isagi and preventing him from passing to Rin. Nanase and Shido come to support Isagi with the Operation Crow Extermination. But then, with his stealthy steps, the ninja Otoya makes himself open and receives the ball quickly, dashing in Rin's blind spot and scores the second goal for Team B. These two together are a destructive power that should not be overlooked. The match kicks off with Karasu bullying Isagi once again, but this time Rin ignores Isagi and instead chooses to pass to Hiyori and tell him to match up to him. With Hiyori's passes, things go well and they easily pass the side character in James Bond, but the ninja Otoya was not having it and challenges Rin. Shido dashes demanding the ball, but within the blitz of a second, Itoshi Rin uses all the player of the field as a cover and smashes the ball with a beautiful spin, tying the game once again. And Isagi still haven't done anything. He can't get past the crow, and it's not like Shido and Rin need him to score. The situation looked desperate for our protagonist, Chigiri, thinking the same about himself, getting sick of the ninja clown and the flightless crow, claiming that he is the Sonic of Blue Lock. The match resumed with the ball at Karasu's feet. Chigiri flying in the right side like a Lamborghini Hurricane. He leaves Isagi in the dust and then utters to Karasu that his legs are desirable. That's not me. Karasu finally gives in and gives the ball to Chigiri, who sent the ball in the heaven, getting his team a lead of 3-2. The match continued, but Isagi wants to do something, but the flightless crow is getting on his way. Meanwhile, Hiyori centers a perfect ball for Rin to score, but Shido also wanted the ball and they end up colliding with each other. Chigiri quickly gets the ball and passes to Karasu, who scores the goal. The score is now 2-4 in favor of Team B. Isagi starts thinking that these two cannot possibly coexist with each other. Rin is always thinking about the optimal location for a goal, and Shido is reacting just by instinct. The match continues with Otoya stopping Hiyori's passes to Rin, but Isagi finally makes himself open, but it was to no use, only to get instantly marked by Karasu. However, out of nowhere, Nanase sprints in an open place, and Isagi uses this opportunity to fade in Karasu's blind spot and faking him once again to get the ball. Now Isagi can finally see a vision of the goal. Shido calls the ball, but he's not facing the goalpost. Nevertheless, that doesn't really matter, since the rules doesn't apply to him. He rotates and scores with a beautiful high spin. Even James Bond couldn't do anything. With the match continuing, Rin steps in and marks Karasu instead of Isagi and calls him a coward for only targeting weaklings. They exchange blows, and Isagi saw an opportunity and jumped to the ball. It was time for the counter-attack. He exchanges passes with Nanase and Hiyori. Suddenly, Chigiri dashes to take the ball from Hiyori, but Shido demanded the ball. In this instinct, Isagi sprints and used Shido to make himself open. The ball is going to him, but he was one step short. Unfortunately, his physical specs still doesn't measure up. Rin, on the other hand, is sprinting with the crow getting on his nerves. But since Rin is a physical beast, he gets the ball first and hits it to tie the game. Hiyori approaches Isagi and advise him to start moving after he thinks. Seeing, thinking, and moving. How about he do them reverse? With one goal to decide the outcome of the match. Karasu passes to the wide open Chigiri, but got intercepted by the demon wings of Shido. The loose ball gets to Nanase. He exchanges passes with Rin, and Hiyori joins in for the final pass that will decide the outcome of the match. All the strikers run into the optimal position, but Isagi is frustrated that he's too slow. His thinking and reaction process takes too long to outplay all of the players in the field. Hiyori beautifully fakes Chigiri before sending the ball flying, and then this is, as Ego declared, the flow state. The state that can create miracles.